If you're watching this, then you know by now a huge problem is heading our way. An emergency meeting is being called at our usual place immediately. Free bagels. I've made a shocking discovery. I need you to get me in touch with NASA immediately.
Well, NASA and I aren't really on speaking terms these days.
Oh, that'll change. When you tell them that the moon is out of orbit.
Did you know much about the conspiracy theories about, like, megastructures, hollow moon, all that kind of stuff when this script came your way?
I didn't know anything about it. I knew that there were lots and lots of conspiracy theories about the moon. I'd never heard the megastructure one. So, it was a whole rabbit hole to go down right from the get-go for me. But, there are so many conspiracy theories about it. So much has been written about it. There's just not enough time in the world to try and find out everything about it. So the thing that I wanted to tap into more than anything at the start was the idea of conspiracy theories more than the sort of conspiracy theories themselves. The energy of the people that believe what they believe and won't be told otherwise, and refuse to lay down and have doors slammed in their face all the time, but they stick steadfastly to their guns. Casey has so much of that energy, so it was more that I wanted to investigate than any factual conspiracy theorists themselves.
Yeah, and I think the important thing with Casey is that even though you think he might be like the comic relief of the thing, and he is to an extent, he ends up being like the emotional heart of this. Like, was it important to you he wasn't totally ridiculed throughout this whole film? Yeah,
absolutely. Because as soon as we're introduced to him, we get a sense of the pain that he's had in his life. He's completely alone at the start of the movie. He's got no family. His father's died. His mother has dementia and she doesn't recognize him. He has no friends or any relationship. He's just completely devoted to his studies and his research. And so he's a very isolated figure. And, there is a lot of humor to him, but that can come from, just because it's humor doesn't necessarily mean they're happy. They can be using humor because they're deeply sad, and, finding out the motives for all that humor, it makes it not just, gags on the page and a few wisecracks. There's a sort of human motivation behind it. And once you've locked into that, you can get away with humor. I always think that humor doesn't necessarily detract from a drama. It can actually add to the drama sometimes.
Yeah, definitely. And this film goes to pretty wild places. I'm pretty sure no one will guess where the final climax is going to take place or what's going to happen. Obviously, this is all probably VFX when you were shooting it. So did it come close to what you were imagining when you were shooting these scenes on set?
No, not even close. And I knew that it wouldn't. I knew that it wouldn't come close because I know that Roland has got a much more fertile imagination than I've got. I don't know what the interior of the moon would look like if I had to design it, but it was nothing close to what Roland came up with. And we knew that, and we had a lot of green screen. And I've done green screen before, but it's always been stuff on Game of Thrones like, oh, you have to imagine thousands of men heading towards you. You can kind of picture what thousands of men look like in your mind's eye, but you can't imagine what the interior of the moon looks like because nobody's got any reference for it. So it was a big imaginative leap. But when I saw it, it exceeded even my lofty expectations of it. And yeah, I think when people go and see it, especially if they go and see it in IMAX, they're in for a real visual treat, without a doubt.
Definitely. Yeah. Just finally, this film does open up the possibility of carry-ons. I'm guessing you'd love to come back to this world and explore it.
I'd love to. Yeah, I'd love to. There's so much more of KC that I'd like to get to know and get to find out about. And I had a brilliant time playing him, and I'm not quite ready to say goodbye to him yet. I want to see what he does in the future, and I want to live. Great to play a character that goes from nothing and becomes this hero. It'd be great to embody him again and see what's in store for him in the future.